Hello, my name is Stuart Brunker and I'm the Business Development Director for Maxoptra. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about how Maxoptra can reduce operating costs for those transport and distribution companies that use fixed routes. Frequently, we come across companies using fixed routes, and generally speaking, a lot of these believe that there is no further optimization that can be done on account of the fact that the routes are regularly or routinely re-optimized, maybe monthly or indeed every 6 months, as new customers join and old customers leave. But I'm going to explain how Maxoptra can beat fixed routes in terms of total operating costs. In order to do this, we need to understand what do we mean by fixed routes. Well, let's imagine that I am a manufacturer of pizza bases and I've got a little factory down here and I need to deliver with my 2 trucks to all of these pizza restaurants. Without a dynamic real-time planning solution like Maxoptra, probably I end up relying on a legacy software that has something a lot more simple built into it. And what it amounts to is dividing the area that I cover into regions, and customers are allocated to routes in the region. So, for example, this could be a city or it could be a number of counties. And I say, well, actually, whenever a customer occurs that's in region A, it's going to be on route 1. Likewise, any customers that are in region B, which could be another city or another county, they are going to be in route 2. And essentially, there will be more customers within a region than will ever order on one day. That's the principle. And the customers are sequenced in the best sequence, assuming they all order on one day, which they never do. So, come the ideal day, what actually happens is I've got my 2 trucks, my orders come in, and what happens is some customers order some products on each route, and miraculously it means that both my trucks are fully loaded, 100% utilized, which is great. But this rarely happens. First problem is when route imbalance occurs, and this type of situation where for some reason in one route lots of customers have ordered lots of product, and whereas on the other route few customers have ordered, and so I've got one vehicle which is overloaded. It's probably going to be out for 15 hours if I let it go like that, whereas this vehicle, it's only a third full and probably maybe only out for 2 or 3 hours. So what do I end up doing? Well, I end up trying to adjust the routes to balance them up. This is time consuming. It involves a type of guesstimates in terms of travel times and so on, because I'm now dealing with an unknown, and probably it takes more time than what it would if I just planned the routes from scratch. But that's not the end of the story, because that would be lovely if it was just 2 routes. But invariably, probably I've got 10 routes, and it looks a little bit more like this. I've got some routes which are overloaded. I've got some routes which are underloaded. I've got some routes where the drivers are over the driver's hours, and other routes where they're not. And so I have to end up shuffling orders from this vehicle here across to this vehicle here, so I can move orders from this vehicle here to this vehicle here, and so on. And then once I've achieved that, let's say on Monday, Tuesday looks like this. So, and away I go again. I spend time shuffling orders around, and in fact, I end up doing a lot more work than what I should do. I effectively end up trying to replan, but actually I'm trying to replan from a bad basis. And because of this, it means I can't really even guesstimate a pretty good plan. And I end up trying to do what what we term making a silk purse out of a pig's ear. Maxoptra, in contrast, optimizes each route daily based on actual orders received, and it's a lot quicker, considers all the constraints, time windows, breaks, travel times, and it means you get better plans in minutes and not hours. Second problem is much more common, and the second problem is that on a daily basis, none of my vehicles are at capacity, but I still send out all vehicles because that's the way the system works. So in this instance, I've got 55% of my total capacity utilized. I'm sending 9 vehicles out. Theoretically, I should be able to do it with a lot less. And that's exactly what Maxoptra does, because what it will do, again, it will look at the actual orders received and work out the number of routes that are required. And this is common finding when we compare fixed routes against Maxoptra. We find we can do the same work with a lot less vehicles. And the type of pattern that emerges, generally speaking, might be like this, where if fixed routes, you're locked into a pattern. You send 9 vehicles out every day, irrespective of whether they're loaded or not. Whereas with Maxoptra, it will vary the number of vehicles required, dependent on the order volume. And this is how, let's assume they're doing 100 and 150 miles a day. You could expect savings of around £500 per week, which is kind of the sort of amount you'd expect to be saving on a fleet of 9 or 10 vehicles. So there we are. Fixed routes guarantee inefficient use of resource. Maxoptra, on the other hand, ensures efficient daily vehicle utilization. Operating cost savings are established at 10 to 12%. And if you want to find out how you can save on your fleet, visit www.maxoptra.com/calculator. Thank you very much for listening.